Chess teaches you that if you lose, at some point you made a mistake. Chess is a fantastic game because in the game of chess, there's no luck. If you lose, no matter how well you played, if you lose, at some point you made a mistake. Even if it's the most minor mistake, you made a mistake. So you learn to understand that no matter what happens to you, if you lose a scenario, you made a mistake. Maybe it's a tiny one, maybe it was 2 years ago, whatever, but you made a mistake, and you learn absolute and utter accountability for yourself. And that mentality is extremely powerful to apply to all things in life. All of this is my fault, but the Bugatti on my drive is my fault, and the yacht is my fault, the private jet's my fault. So it's all my fault. So I take the good with the bad. I take all responsibility for absolutely everything, including if a woman leaves me, if a woman stays, if I end up heartbroken, if I end up filled with rage, I take responsibility for that. If something happens to me that makes me enraged, I will take responsibility. Why has this happened to me? Why do I feel this way? How did I end up in this position? Is this healthy in this scenario? And sometimes it is. I've had scenarios in my life where I was prepared to die to protect somebody else, and I was enraged and it was healthy. I've also had times where I'm in a room by myself, enraged, sitting there going, this is no good for anybody. I need to just calm the fuck down. So emotions are feedback, but Stoicism is the ability to process them. And that's what you need to learn as a man. You're never gonna be able to turn them off. You're gonna feel them. You have to learn how to process them and turn them into a positive. It's energy, it's unlimited energy. I say this all the time. I say that the biggest periods of transformation in my life is when everything was going wrong. When my life was going good, I'm not a hedonistic person. I don't do drugs. I don't gamble. I don't do prostitutes. I don't do anything that hedonistic. But I'll certainly go on the yacht with a bunch of women I know and chill and have some vodkas and that kind of thing. When life's smooth, then it's semi-hedonistic, pretty relaxed. But when I make my biggest progress, when I really change who I am and change the world, that's when everything's fucked. When things go wrong, or I'm feeling things I don't want to feel, or bad things are happening, that's when I'm like, okay, I currently cannot sleep. I've completed the day's tasks. I've tried to go to bed. I can't sleep. More shit has to get done. That's when the amazing things happen in my life. When I was heartbroken, when I was whatever, well, everyone's been heartbroken. I can't remember a specific example. I hit the gym harder, right? If something goes wrong with your payment processor, that's when you get inventive. That's business, right? That's when you get inventive. So all the bad things that happen to you as a man, if you're stoic, you get to take unlimited energy. Heartbreak is unlimited energy. So is rage, so is sadness. All these negative emotions they tell you to collapse behind. It's like, people talk like, Bruce Lee says, be like water. And people see that as be fluid and just go with the flow. I disagree. If you're like water, you're necessary for life. You are scary when you're enraged. You're powerful. You're beautiful when you're calm. You're so many things when you're like water, right? So if I'm enraged, it's like water behind a dam. You just got to put the dam in place. And you got to get the turbo, the hydroelectrics put in. Don't tsunami your life. Put the energy somewhere. And this is the most beautiful thing about it, because people message me all the time like, oh, but Tate, you don't know how sad I feel. No, it's incorrect. I know exactly how sad you feel. Difference is I used it. And you're sitting here still crying, some random guy on email for the third month in a row. That's the difference between you and me, my friend. I was becoming a world champion kickboxer. I will say, listen, there's been times in my life where I was fully functional as an adult. I would never label myself depressed because I don't believe in things that take power from me, which we'll talk about in a second. But there's been times in my life where I didn't give a fuck if I lived or died. There's been times in my life where I went to fight a man for money, and I didn't give a shit if I lost and even woke up again. Didn't give a fuck. I had nothing worth living for. I was brokey, didn't have a girlfriend, didn't have any money, got a 2-day call to fight some world champion, had to lose 10 kilos in 2 days, had nothing else going for me, got on a plane to Dagestan and fucking won. I don't give a shit. And that's when I was at my most powerful. Now if I get that call, I'm like, bro, I got a new car outside and shit. I'm not going to Dagestan, bro. Going to where? Sorry, how much money? Nah. But back then I was like, yeah, cool. Who is he? Oh, this guy. All right, fine. I didn't give a fuck. I was most powerful when I was sad, when all these things. And the difference was the framing. It was the framing of it. How do you think chess reflects life?
I think that it's all about strategy.
Correct.
That if you're good at chess, you can be good at pretty much anything, because it's about thinking ahead, it's about planning, it's about relentless practice.
And you know what else is beautiful about chess? If you lose, somewhere you made a mistake. There is no luck.
Absolutely right.
In chess, even if it's the smallest mistake, somewhere it was your fault. It teaches absolute self-accountability, which is something that we need a lot more of in the world today.
That is true.
And that's why chess is so important. Chess absolutely reflects life. And even I say this now in my business meetings with my team. A lot of the problem in the world today, especially with teams and businesses, etc., everyone wants to be the king. But if you want to have a team, if you want to have a side that wins, if you want to win a game of chess, everybody has to know their role and do their role effectively. There can be a king and a rook and a pawn and a bishop and a knight, and everyone does everything correctly. And when that happens, you have a very formidable board and you're hard to beat. And chess reflects life absolutely. Is something I do every single day.
So when I was a child, I was playing chess all the time with my father. I was a state chess champion of Indiana. I was on my way to become a grandmaster. And then when my mother and father decided to break up, we decided to move back to England. So my dad stayed here in America, so I lost my chess coach. And it's hard to stay dedicated and stay good without a coach, right? So for a long time, I played a bit of chess. I did a little bit back and forth, etc. And when I realized I needed probably 13, 14, I was missing all that time I spent playing chess. I was looking for something that was similar, and I ended up choosing fighting. I started with karate. I got a black belt in Shotokan, and I moved on to kickboxing, and I fought K1, and I've had MMA fights as well. So to me, they're very, very similar. They're one-on-one. There's no luck involved. I didn't want a team sport, because in a team sport, you can have a bad day, still win, a good day, still lose. No, I want it all on the line, right? I didn't want a sport with any luck. That's the thing about chess. It doesn't matter how well you played. It doesn't matter how nearly perfect the game was. If you lost, at some point, you made a mistake. Even if you can't identify it, at some point, you have made a mistake. And that's a fantastic metaphor for life as well. Because there's so many people out here who don't take responsibility. No, I don't buy that. I don't give a shit what happened. At some point, you did not diversify. You did not prepare yourself. You made a mistake. It's a good life philosophy I have. Everything that's good that happens to me is all my fault. And everything bad that happens to me is all my fault. I take absolute responsibility. So chess teaches you that, right? And fighting's the same. People talk about lucky punch. If you're fighting a dude who trained to punch people in the face and then he punches you in the face, it wasn't a lucky punch. That's what he does, right? So there's no luck involved. All the glory's with you. And it's also a very cerebral sport. Fighting's not, I mean, you need to be a tough guy, but tough guys have short careers. Smart guys have long careers. Look at Mayweather's career. He didn't get hit. Yeah. That's why he could fight so long. He didn't get hit. Everyone else had to retire early because your brain gets frazzled. You can't think as fast. You start getting caught. So it's certainly a cerebral sport, and it replaced chess for me. And I took it very, very seriously, and I did very, very well. So, yeah, to me, they're the exact same thing. They're the exact same thing. But if I had to decide which one is actually harder, I'd still say chess.
I think that a lot of people don't understand that it's all of the challenges and struggles that's going to make them, it's either going to make or break them. It's how you look at the problems and how you use them to fuel you. So what you have to do is frame it inside of your mind and understand that all of those problems are going to allow you, give you the fuel, the unlimited motivation that you need to become a successful and beautiful individual if you frame it in the right way. If you take a man and give him a life shielded from problems and he never has any to face, I guarantee you he's terrible at being a man. The best men in the world have gone through shit. That's why women love scars, because it didn't kill you. That's the whole point of it, right? So the best thing you can do as a man is look and go, okay, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard. I feel negative because these are all so difficult. I'm struggling with X, Y, Z. Let me internalize all of that and turn it into a superpower. Let me become genuinely uncomfortable with my situation in life and go and fix things. Because, like I said, the universe is absolutely and utterly very giving. And if you truly hated being in the position you were in, you wouldn't be there very long. So I think that the number one problem with the world today, and the biggest problem that men face, isn't the problems themselves. It's just the way that they've been taught to mentally frame issues. People think when bad things happen to them that somehow they're a victim to the universe and bad things only happen to me and this is so terrible. They don't understand that bad things happen to everybody, and the most successful person you know had all those, probably maybe even worse, at least the same bad things happened to them. They just framed it differently and used it. That's the difference. So I don't pray for an easy life. I pray for a life of difficulty that allows me to become a better and better person. I pray to become more competent to handle problems. This is who I pray to become. I don't pray that nobody hurts me. I pray to be able to fight. So it's a different mentality. I think a lot of people build their mindsets around trying to feel good. So that's why we were talking earlier about people who want to ignore the idea of personal responsibility or self-accountability, because they feel better if they pretend it's not a real thing. They feel better if they pretend everything's someone else's fault. A lot of people's mental model and how they view the world is based around them feeling as good as possible. So people are basing their mindsets around trying to feel good. I have always tried to base my mindset around absolute competence regardless of how I feel. And there are certainly disadvantages to that. There are times you're going to be a lot more pessimistic, or you're going to be a lot more stressed, or a lot more, pissed off about certain things than others. Yeah, that can be seen as a downside. But like I said, I use all of those things for unlimited motivation to propel my endless upward trajectory. But if you construct a mindset that allows you to be as competent as possible, as opposed to feel any different or feel better, then you're going to naturally come to the conclusions I've come to. You're as competent as possible if you believe you can affect absolutely everything about your life. You're as competent as possible if you believe absolutely everything that's happened to you, whether good or bad, is completely your fault. You're as competent as possible if you believe the bad things that happen to you are going to allow you to work harder and become even better. When bad things happen to me, the first thing out of my mouth is good. 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 That's just my response. Good, good, good. Now I'm really pissed. This mindset I've constructed allows me to be as fearsome a competitor as possible. It allows me to be a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor, and that's the point of a mindset. Why would you have a mental model or a mentality that made you anything less? In the ultra competitive world that we've just discussing that everybody wants the things you have, why would you absorb information or construct a mental model that doesn't allow you to be as competitive as possible? I am a feared competitor in anything I do. Anyone who's up against me at anything is going to feel a degree of nervousness just because it's me. It doesn't matter what it is. If you say, look, you're going to go learn how to play piano, and you're going to play against someone else who's never played piano, and you're going to learn, and that guy's Andrew Tate. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. I can't even play piano. But part of them is going to be like, oh, not Tate. Even though I have no piano experience, because they just know me. They know my mindset. They know my determination. They know I'm stubborn. They know I don't quit. They know I'm going to win. That's just who I am. So I've constructed a mental model that allows me to be competent and to always succeed. And that's how I've come to the conclusions I've come to. And I truly, once again, don't understand how people go through the world with any other mental model. I get asked all the time, but what do you feel? Or what about happiness? How I feel doesn't cross my mind. I don't know how else to explain it. There are days where I'm pissed off or sad or happy. It doesn't cross my mind. You can't only be able to perform when you're happy. You can't only go to the gym when you're motivated. You can't only be a competent person when your life's going well, because when your life's not going well, you're no longer competent. Then you're going to lose to people like me. And it's player versus player. If you're the kind of person who can only do well when you're happy, and you're competing against someone like me who can do well all the fucking time, guess what? You lose. So my mental model, the answer is most of my opinions are just based around constructing a mental model that allows me to be brutally competitive. You cannot try and make me adopt thinking that will reduce my competitiveness as an individual. So I don't give a fuck if I'm wrong. I don't believe in it. That's it. End of story. So I don't believe in things that take power away from me. I don't believe in things that make me less competitive, and I don't adopt mental models that make me less competitive. Every single mental model I have are the most efficient ones I could find. To the mental model I found that if I adopt, I become a more fearsome predator. That's it. So this is how I've come to all of my conclusions as an individual.
The best option, the best thing to do is still to get up, be an adult, control your emotions, be stoic, and do the things you're supposed to do day after day. Laying in bed and doing nothing is never going to be the best option. The best option is still to go to the gym, to work hard, to run your business, to be successful. So it doesn't matter. We're talking about the different positions on the chessboard. But if the rules of the game remain the same, regardless of the position you're still trying to win, you still have to do the same things. So does it even matter at this point? All I know, what I will say as a matter of fact, is this world is hyper-competitive, especially as a man. Most men are walking through life and they don't realize that it's constant competition. Every single pound they want, someone else wants. Every single girl they want, someone else wants. There are people like me out here. I will destroy, you could get all 30 of them in a room and I will sit by myself and absolutely annihilate them in any single metric. And they're just sitting there just fucking floundering and wandering through life unaware of how competitive the world is. And I want the money you want, and I want the girl you want, and I want the status you want, and the car you want, and the house you want. And I'm gonna get it and you're fucking not. And that's the bottom line of life. What I'm saying is you're playing a game and it's a competitive game, and you need to build a mindset that allows you to be ultra competitive. And if you want to sit there and say, no, I want a non-competitive mindset, then fine. You know what you call people who do not win competitions? Losers. Correct. It's just the bottom line of life. And it's kind of interesting because everyone pretends they give a fuck, but nobody does. Being a quitter is the worst thing you could possibly be. God himself can't make a quitter important, because the only reason the place you're trying to get to has value is because it was difficult to reach. If everybody could reach it, there'd be no value. Value is linked to scarcity.
The whole point gold is valuable is because it's not everywhere. If it was everywhere, it wouldn't have any value. The reason the place you're trying to reach is valuable is because people can't get there. So if you're the kind of person who quits, you're never going to get there. Quitters are the worst. You could give a quitter a map, a treasure map, and a hot air balloon. Say it's going to take you right to the treasure. It's going to be a 7-day journey.
Man,
here's a sandwich. And halfway through, they'll be like, oh, I'm cold.
Yeah, you just said that 7 days, nah.
Yeah, and they'll quit.
Yeah.
Quitters will never make it. And there's a huge subsect of the populace who are basically simply quitters. I've never in my life seen anyone who's determined to get something not get it. I've never seen somebody who is determined in their heart to get something not get it. The universe and God is so giving and providing. People think it's difficult out here. I disagree. I've never seen someone wake up and say, nah, this is all I care about. This is all I want. Not get it. Everyone who thought that way in fighting was a world champion. Everyone who thought that way about money was rich. I've never seen anyone fail. Bro, I've seen people with no credit score and no job determined to get an R8 manage to get one on finance somehow. I've seen it. If it's all you want, you're gonna get it. And I've decided that I can't stop bad things from happening to me. So instead, I'm going to enjoy bad things happening to me. And I'm going to build a mindset that makes me fearsome enough to succeed regardless of how stacked the odds are against me. Like I said right now, I'm not a coward. And I want to make this very clear. I'm not a coward. I don't care if I don't sleep again for the rest of my life. And I refuse to sit and have my mind altered by anything I do not control. I don't care if I have nightmares for the rest of human time.
Right.
As long as I'm in charge of my mind, I'm in charge of my life. If God decides that I don't need nightmares anymore, I'll fathom out how to stop it. If God decides I need to wake up in the middle of the night in a sweat, fearful or afraid they're coming to get me, then that's God's plan for me, and that's what I'm going to deal with. I'm not a coward. I'm not afraid of any of these things. I'm not afraid of feeling bad. I'm not afraid of panic. This is one of the things I think a lot of men out there struggle with is they're so worried and afraid of bad feelings. And to me, that's just showing that you've had an easy life. Like there's real people out here who are trying to kill you. There's people out here who put a knife in your neck. You're scared of what? Feeling sad? Who cares? Like there's real problems. What are you worried about feeling sad for? Who gives a shit? I could feel sad for the rest of my life, and I guarantee, 1, nobody would know, and 2, I would be monumentally successful regardless. So why are we even talking about it? I have no fear for a negative feeling. I have fear for me not being able to provide for my children. I have fear for people who rely on me not being provided for and cared for, but I don't have I don't wake up and go, I'm worried if I might feel sad today. Who cares? Who cares? I can be happy or sad on the same day. Nobody notices, and the same things get done. The exact same amount of work gets done. Nothing changes.
There's certainly a lot of lessons in chess. There's certainly a lot you can attribute to chess from everyday life to the chessboard. And I think it's a good grounding mechanism. I enjoy to sit down for a good couple hours, win some games, lose some games.
Right.
It's something I personally enjoy. So, yeah.
Can you tell us some of those life lessons that you learned from playing chess with your father and applying it into real life?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you my favorite one first.
Yeah. Please do.
My favorite one is the difference between the king and the queen. Right? Because the king moves one square at a time, and the queen can just zip across the board. Right? So you're here in Miami, you're partying in Miami. They got all these parties right now. It's Art Basel, blah, blah, blah. You see all these chicks on a boat. For the man to get on that boat, it's one square at a time, right? He has to get a good job. He has to get his taxes right. He has to find a way to leverage credit. He has to meet the guy who sells the boats. He has to go through all this shit stage by stage by stage to finally pull off being on that yacht and having that yacht at the age of 56. A chick, what does she need? Lip fillers? Boom. Zip. On. She gets straight on. That's the difference between the king and the queen. But although the king is slower than the queen, he's the most important piece, right? The king can't die. The queen can die. The queen, sometimes you can be looking at a position and go, this is fucked up. The only way out of this is to sacrifice that bitch. Sometimes you can do it. I'll tell you a very quick story. This is a story I've never told before. When I was, how old was I, 23? When I was 23, I was dating a ballerina. She was the prima ballerina of the Cambridge Ballet School in England. And I had no money. I was a fighter, but I was coming up. I didn't really have any money. And she lived far away, like an hour and a half away, but she used to come see me, and we were good for like a year and a half. I loved this girl, yeah? And she finished ballet school. She started dancing in clubs in London. She couldn't get any ballet work, so surprise, surprise. Who fucking wants ballet work, right? So she ends up doing like dancing, not stripping, but like dancing in the club, you know, So now she's around all the London money every day. She's out dancing all the time. She's up late every night. She doesn't want to drive an hour and a half to come see me. None of this shit. So we're kind of falling apart a little bit. And she ended up talking to someone famous. So anyway, when I finally saw her again, she was like, we had an argument. She's like, well, you know what? You think you're a fighter? This guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. I'm like, look, if you're gonna go fuck idiots, at least do it for money. And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, well, if you're gonna go fuck idiots, at least you get paid, because they don't give a fuck about you. Like, if you're gonna play this game, at least do it for money. So I had this argument with her back and forth, and I explained to her that these men are just gonna use you. If you're gonna do it, at least get paid. And when she left the house, Tristan said, why are you telling her to fuck other dudes? I'm like, no, I'm just understanding that in my chess position, I've lost this game.
Right.
The game is done now. Just sooner or later, she's out. All we do is argue. She's in the club every night. I'm just trying to say, before she leaves, maybe I can get a little bit of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the queen sacrifice, right?
Right.
We broke up 3 months later. I don't know if she fucked him or not, or who she fucked. I don't know. I never spoke to her since. But that's kind of the analogy you have to be able to apply to life. Sometimes chicks gotta go.
Yeah.
Sometimes they have to go to save the king. And too many dudes, most of the time, men truly lose at life. It's because they've attached themselves to a queen and they won't let her up. They won't sacrifice her. No matter what. I promised I'm gonna stick by you. This, our marriage vows, no matter what. And they just stay on that sinking ship till she eventually leaves his ass. And it's sad to see, but men keep doing it. Chess is the most ruthless game on the planet, and what chess will teach you, people think chess guys are nerds. Chess guys are psychopaths. My ELO, for anyone who knows chess rating, is like 1800, which is it's all right. It's pretty average. Considering my father was a grandmaster, it's not even that good. But I was 1800 when I was 8. I got no better. So because I stopped playing. But chess teaches you that if you lose, at some point you made a mistake. It doesn't matter if it's the smallest mistake. It doesn't matter if you just took too long to think to make the right move and you ran out of time on the clock. At some point, you fucked up for you to lose that game. It's 100% accountability with no luck. That's what's so important about learning chess. That's the first thing. And the second thing is, you need to, as a man, adopt the mindset that absolutely everything that happens to you is completely and utterly your fault, whether it's good or bad. And most men don't have that. Most men don't have that. I'm sitting there going, this is my fault. All of this is me. I got here. It's my fault. I'm not going, that was unfair. It was orchestrated, because that is not helpful.
So it's accountability.
It's 100% accountability in all things. But also, when I go out there and I start to Bugatti, it's like, that's me. This is my fault. The car is my fault, and the big house is my fault, and everything that ever goes wrong is my fault.
And the failures.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to take complete and utter accountability for everything. You can't make excuses ever. Yeah. There's never an excuse. And you're right. People try and put things on the outwards on the outside. It's interesting. I remember watching Forrest Gump about 5 years ago. I was on a plane. I can't remember where I was flying. And the beginning of Forrest Gump has a scene in it, which I don't think many people actually have ever analyzed or anticipated or understood what the scene means. But when he's sitting on the bench at the beginning, think about Forrest Gump. He's sitting on the bench at the beginning and there's a feather blowing.
Yeah.
And then it lands on him and the movie begins.
Yeah.
What they're saying with that is Forrest is the feather and life has just pushed him all over and put him in all these unusual scenarios. Life has directed him everywhere. Yeah. That's what it's saying. And if you're going to be the guy and you're going to allow life to happen to you and you're not going to happen to life, then you're at mercy of the wind. Perhaps it might work out okay, but it might not, right? So you have to be the guy who goes, okay, the wind's blowing in this direction. Fuck them. I'm doing this. You have to come to life. You can't let life come to you.
How do you think men can build more confidence in like deciding their life instead of just letting it be decided for them?
Yeah, so they have to take absolute responsibility, which is the first thing. The second thing, they have to get competence, and competence is going to allow you to have confidence. You're not going to be good at shit if you're bad at shit. You have to be good at things. You're only going to be confident at things if you're good at things. I know what I'm good at and what I'm bad at. So you have to go out there and take risks, and you have to make mistakes, and you have to risk it all. And once again, this comes down to competition. I think competition is such an important thing in the masculine world. Yeah. I grew up in the chess world, and I went into the fighting world. It was all extremely competitive. It's competition driven. You can't make excuses. If I sit here and say I lost a fight, cool, you lost the fight. But I lost the fight, but my gloves, when they were wrapped up, my hand was hurting, and then
excuses.
Bro, you lost, G. Like, you have to understand that excuses don't matter. Nobody cares. Life's binary. Winners or losers. And you just have to take absolute responsibility for all of it. The main reason people complain about things is to get a dopamine rush, right? I'm unhappy, but if I sit there and I complain about it and you give me a little bit of sympathy, I feel better, right? So you get dopamine. That's why they're complaining for dopamine. If someone comes to me and complains about something, the best thing I can do for them, because I'm a philanthropic, nice man, because I'm Mr. Nice, is tell them to get fucked. Don't care. Shut up.
Yeah.
That's the best thing you can do. When your friend comes and goes, bro, and this girl, and I really miss her. Look, I understand, bro. She ain't coming back. She's fucking next guy. But this is why people complain. They complain to feel better. And then this ties into who your social circle is. A lot of this comes down to your social circle, because there's a whole bunch of guys out there whose friends accept excuses.
If your friends will allow you to make excuses, you're going to make excuses. If your family let you make excuses, you're going to make excuses. You're going to complain and feel better. You got to be around killers who don't accept that shit. If me and let's say me and 3 friends, there's 4 of us, and we all decide to do 10,000 push-ups a day, and all of us do them except one, there's no words inside the human language, there's no sentence he could possibly construct, no matter how compendious or concise or how intelligent the man is, that will allow us to forgive him for failing. You failed. Oh, but I was busy, dada. We did them. You're a bitch. Shut up. We don't accept excuses. That is it. That's the bottom line. Have you ever seen anybody who's done anything fantastic and they didn't have faith in themselves? When they got to the top, they go, I just don't know, dada. Another thing that's interesting is I've never seen anybody do anything on accident. This is what's actually very interesting. When somebody tells me their goals, I ask what their plan is to achieve their goals, and they never have one, and it's fucking dumb. But I'm saying if someone has a goal, I say, well, what's your plan? And they haven't got a plan. I've never seen anyone do anything amazing on accident, is my point. It's certainly, I know what I'm supposed to do and I do it day after day. I don't have a pre-designated, goal by this date, but I know I want to become stronger, so I just train. But what I'm saying is I've never seen anybody do anything amazing by accident. So what this extrapolates out, let's use the gym and money, right? Have you ever found a guy in the gym who's in fantastic shape and you said, why are you in such good shape? How'd you get so big? And he goes, oops, just happened.
I feel like
don't know, Gene.
But I feel like you're giving us. I feel like you're giving us the long answer for like hard work pays off.
You're not going to do it accidentally. You have to do the right things every single day. Okay. And it's the same with money, right? If I meet somebody and they're loaded, they're like, "How'd you make so much money?" Well, this is what I did. I did this. I did that. I spoke to this guy. I started this company. Da da da. When you ask the average guy, "Do you want to be rich?" He goes, "Yeah." How you gonna get rich? Don't know. How'd you get rich? Oops. This just like it's dumb shit. Like it's just people, and it's kind of amazing. The last 5 years have proved it, but the majority of people are just sleepwalking, bro. They have no plan to achieve any of their goals. They don't try very hard at shit. Everything is someone else's fault. And when my ship comes in, don't worry, in a few years, I'm going to be here. How? They're just amateur. They're not professional at life. You have to be a life professional.
Do you think there's certain people that are kind of like born like that and they just will never learn?
No, I don't. I think it's to a degree, obviously there's going to be some genetic disposition, but I also think it's a mindset you can adopt as a whole. You have to be hard on yourself. You have to be extremely self-reflective. If I forget my house keys or my car keys, I punish myself for that. You have to punish yourself. So my point is this. So the reason I'm making it is that I talk about professionalism. It's very easy to be a professional at the big things if you're a professional at all the small things. I'm never late. I'm always up at the time I said I'm going to be up. I never miss that phone call I'm supposed to miss. I don't misplace my shit. I did dumb, normal stuff. And I hang around normal people and they're like, oh, wait, where's my wallet? Wait.
One
now
sec.
I'm 10 minutes late. Of course you don't achieve shit. You're a dummy. Chess teaches you everything you need to know about life. You're the king. You've got all the pieces around you. You've got your queen, your most important piece. That's the woman you choose in your life. If you choose a shit woman, you're going to have a shit life. So you'd have a good queen. The queen needs to be in a good place, and she needs to obey the king. You've got your brothers, you've got your boys, you've got your knights and bishops and rooks. Those are the people who you really care about and the strongest pieces on your board. If they're all shit, once again, you're going to have a shit life. And you got pawns. Pawns are people who work for you or work with you, or people who aren't particularly loyal to you, but they're loyal to a paycheck that you're providing. You got to put everyone in the right place, and you got to win the game. And the truth is, you have to be a logical actor. When you're creating your life and constructing your life, if you're playing the game of chess, you need to make the moves which have the best possible advantage for you and the least possible advantages to your opponent, right? Yeah. You have to stop leaving yourself open to be destroyed. Watch that scene and you will understand the power of Bruce Lee. Defeats 100 unarmed henchmen, and on his way out, runs into a room and the door closes. He tries to get out, the other door closes, and he's stuck. And he instantly just sits down, chills. And he's just like, I'm trapped now. So the best thing I can do is just relax. No point in kicking the door, it's solid steel. No point in panicking. Then when the door eventually opens, at least I'm energized. Making the best move on the chessboard, regardless of how losing your position is a life philosophy that most will never understand. A good man controls himself. I have absolute self-control. If I decide to smash your face in, it was a very conscious decision. Nothing to do with the fact I was angry. If I decide to shoot you in the face, it's a conscious decision. It's the best move on the chessboard. There's no anger involved. You understand? Emotional control is absolutely and utterly important as a man. Now, I'm not saying become a stoic dork, have no personality, be a boring fuck. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that you need to understand as a man, there are certain principles under which you act, regardless of how you feel. Bam. I can wake up in a terrible mood. Nice. I can wake up sad. I can ache. I can have a busy day, stressed, etc. I will complete the same tasks as if I woke up in a fantastic mood.
I'll do the same things because how I feel has no bearing on the things I'm going to do with my day because I have duty to myself and to my bloodline. So a lot of you guys out here are acting like fools because you feel like acting like fools. And what I'm going to say to you is, because you think there's something wrong with you, you go, well, I lack motivation. You hear this one? I don't have the motivation to go to the gym. Well, here's the news flash. Neither did I. And I still did it. So now what are you going to say? Now you have no excuse, right? Oh, you're scared to get in the ring. So was I. I still did it. Scared to get in the cage. So was I. I still did it. Being a man isn't about not feeling things. It's about acting the way you're supposed to act, regardless of how you feel. This once again ties into your network, the people around you, everyone else around you. When you say you feel a certain way, if they don't check you, then why are you hanging around with them? Thanks. If you're going to sit there and go, I feel sad, and your friends are going to go, oh, bro, you feel sad, man? Sorry to hear that, bro. It's hard to be sad, bro. You sad, bro? Oh, we're sad too, bro. I was sad last week. Tristan, I feel sad. Like, shut up. My boys around me, there is no weakness in my circle. Yeah. You need to create your reality. So you got to keep this in mind. I'm tired of hearing guys message about how they feel. I don't feel motivated. I don't feel. Feel. We act. We're men of action. We get things done. So the world got built. All of it. All the men who built the skyscrapers felt scared. They did it anyway. You need to become a man of action. Stop worrying about how you feel and start worrying about what you're supposed to be doing. How about that?